ANALYSISOPINION. I have noticed a deluge of planted, coordinated articles in the Obama media, and declarations coming from the GOP establishment Senate, that demand the United States provide supposedly defensive weapons to Ukraine. The details of an alleged presentation to Trump have even been leaked to the press, detailing a recommended $40 million sale of Javelin anti-tank missiles to the Ukrainian armed forces, to defend against Russian armor in a possible invasion of western Ukraine. The timing and coordination of this campaign sheds light on an obvious, coordinated agenda by the GOP establishment and the progressives in the American press, and it has nothing to do with Russia. The thesis behind the effort is that Ukraine is fighting against sophisticated Russian forces in the East, desperately needs American help, and that it is in America's national security interest to aid in this fight, to stop Russia's aggression against its former vassal states. There are several problems with this scenario. First, the Ukrainian military is much stronger than it was years ago when Russia annexed Crimea. Kiev has an indigenous military-industrial complex and has been very creative in developing weapons to counter what is deployed against them by the pro-Russian separatists in Donbass. If Russia invaded the rest of Ukraine today, it would pay a heavy price in blood and treasure, even though it would most likely be ultimately successful. Second, what is killing Ukrainian troops is not a tank invasion, but precise heavy artillery. This is where Russian-supported forces have an advantage. Many times, this artillery fire is alleged to originate from within Russia itself. To counter this threat, Ukraine would need sophisticated anti-artillery radar and the means to destroy distant targets once identified, possibly across the border. The delivery of anti-tank weapons will do nothing to negate this threat. Third, why is it in America's national security interest to get involved in killing one side or the other in another far-off conflict where our existence as security is not threatened? Do we really want American weapons killing Russians, mercenaries or not? Do we really want to get involved in a war on Russia's border, in a non-NATO country? Last time I checked, we have intelligence services that could provide weapons to Ukraine to defend themselves through covert channels. For instance, Israel has plenty of capability in the desired weapons categories. Why do we have to overtly sell them? That makes no sense. What's more, the timing of all this is extremely suspect. Ukraine desperately needed weapons several years ago, not now. They have developed their own methods to defend themselves. Russia is now looking for ways to end the conflict. The Russian presidential election is next year, even though it is sure to be far from a fair contest. The last thing Putin wants is once again to have a hot war on his doorstep, costing Russian lives and money. This coordinated media effort has nothing to do with Russia, but it has everything to do with forcing Donald Trump's hand. Again, last time I checked, Trump was commander-in-chief, not John McCain, some Obama bureaucrat in the State Department, secretly being paid by George Soros to stick it to the Kremlin, justified or not. It doesn't take much insight to see that when the New York Times, John McCain, and Never Trumpers team up to push an agenda, it should be questioned as to the real motives behind it.